I refuse to give up. Yes, most altcoins are down, but Uniswap might be an opportunity here. The reason why the altcoin market long-term crashes is because insiders and venture capitalists, they get token unlocks, and those new unlocks, the new supply, gets sold over time. That's why most altcoins go down. However, while this was also the case for Uniswap in the past, it was an inflationary token, things are now changing. Robinhood is integrating with Uniswap. And there's a proposal to add that fee generation into token burns, so that Uniswap becomes deflationary, that the supply shrinks over time. Uniswap is the largest decentralized exchange for the spot market. And maybe there's an opportunity here to buy the fear, to buy when nobody wants to hear anything about crypto. Hi, my name is Gerhard. I've been in the crypto space for the last 8 years. I hit my first million 3 years ago, and I did this mainly through active trading of altcoins. My 5-year track record, this is when I started to measure my performance versus Bitcoin, is on the website down below. Just click over here at the top, track record. Over the last 5 years, on average, I outperformed buying and holding Bitcoin by 2.3% per month. And I like this chart for 2 reasons. First of all, it shows relative performance because most people are only able to make money in crypto when we've had bull market. But secondly, even with the recent decline in Bitcoin measured in BTC, the portfolio continues to grow. I don't think that many people in the crypto space are willing to be as transparent with their performance. Maybe because it doesn't look that great long term. Now, I'm not outperforming every single month. I'm not a magician. Still, I want to be transparent what you can expect long term. It's no magic, it's just long-term compounding. So what about Uniswap? Uniswap is mainly a decentralized spot exchange. It's got various versions, it's got liquidity pools, and the trading fees get routed into token burns. The integration with Robinhood has helped the price, and even traditional finance is hyping up the token now. This is an analyst from Standard Chartered predicting a 40x increase in UNI, so $100 per token. Now at the same time, we see how some whales are offloading UNI, but the team is showing off their revenue generated through Robinhood. So this is real volume. This is not just speculation. By the way, if you are on X, formerly known as Twitter, then feel free to also check out the account of this channel. I publish data regularly over here. Make sure though that you follow the right account. So the right account is this one over here at BitcoinStrat. That's the only real account. Please do not follow any fake account. Now this is Uniswap's long-term price just measured in US dollars. And the horizontal dotted line, that's the average price. It's $9.80. If we were to go back to that long-term equilibrium, the price would appreciate by more than 180% from here. Is this the most realistic scenario? It does not necessarily look like that when we compare Uniswap to Bitcoin. Now, why do we want to make that comparison in the first place? It's because crypto tends to move in sync, right? When Bitcoin goes up, most altcoins go up. When Bitcoin goes down, most altcoins go down. So really, when we buy an altcoin, we're taking on more risk compared to buying Bitcoin. Thus, that additional risk should be compensated with more performance, which unfortunately long-term did not happen for Uniswap because of the inflating supply. The supply moved from 160 million all the way to 1 billion. But that's now changing. Now, just on this chart, let's say we stay in this negative momentum and the tokenomics won't even do much of a change. Even on that chart, Uniswap could outperform Bitcoin by another 76% before it sees a resistance. But I do think that long-term the tokenomics will have an impact. They had an impact in the past on the negative side. They might have an impact in the future on the positive side because the supply will shrink. That vote to make UNI deflationary was seen as incredibly positive by the community. 99.9% voted for that tokenomics improvement. So this is real usage turning into real fees, turning into real token burns. Now the problem is always that there's correlation between the attention on an asset and the price, right? When everybody now looks at UNI because of its improvements, then maybe short term the price might be elevated. Is that the case for Uniswap right now? What we see here as a bar chart, that's the number of social engagements over time. What we see in the green line, that's the price chart. So we can see when there's more social engagements, price tends to go up. When there's less social engagements, the price tends to go down. Currently, the social engagement is slightly rising, but it's not yet at historical heights. So there's no hype around the asset. Let's have a look at the short-term traders. So on the spot market, we had 30 million worth of trading volume in the last 24 hours. On the perpetual futures market, we had 180 million. So much more trading volume on the perps. The perps are bullish long term, as in there's more people that bet on a rising price than on a falling price because the funding rate is positive. It costs money to bet on a rising price of Uniswap. If you are bearish on Uniswap, you can collect that funding rate simply by shorting the token. But most people, they're bullish. And I think rightfully so. This here is the open interest. So the amount of bets on the derivatives market, on the perpetual futures, on the Uniswap token. When there's a lot of bets, when open interest is high, then there's also a lot of leverage in the asset. When the leverage goes down, then the price tends to follow as well. Leverage does have an impact on the price. Currently though, the leverage is not that high. We are at 250 million. That can go up all the way to 800 million. If the leverage increases, the price will definitely follow as well. Now here's Bitcoin Strategy Analytics. That's the backtesting platform of this channel, available to the premium members. And I'm backtesting Uniswap here. Now I want to figure out, is there maybe a way to trade Uniswap and make money above just buying and holding? The idea is that I want to determine the best golden and def cross, as in moving average crosses over time. What moving average durations should we use in order to get the best buying signal and the best selling signal? I like to follow this strategy in general. That's, I think, one key ingredient why we are outperforming the market. We simply have the right risk management and we try to trade on the right direction based on data. And so, for example, when we look at Luna Classic, just as an example over here, and we had a def cross. So let's look at that announcement. By the way, those announcements are in Telegram, but they can also be sent via email. Once we got that def cross, right? So when the 6-day SMA crossed the 10-day, that's the best for Luna Classic. That's when we bet on a falling price. And then subsequently, once we got the golden cross, that's then when we close the position. So those kinds of back tests, I think, are very useful. And so that's what we are doing with Uniswap here as well. We look for two moving averages, the simple moving averages. We go long and short, and we don't use any leverage right now. And so here is the result. On the x-axis, we've got the slow moving average. On the y-axis, we've got the fast moving average. Every data point over here is a single back test. So we're looking at 40,000 simulations of buying and selling Uniswap. The best combination, that's this data point over here, which is the 18-day plus 21-day simple moving average. Now, how much did this outperform buying and holding? The answer is we almost doubled our capital every single year following those moving averages. The reward is much higher compared to buying and holding. The risk is also lower, as in the maximum drawdown is less compared to buying and holding. And we're already including financing fees and trading fees in that simulation. This is then how that looks like over time. So we've got the Uniswap price at the top, and we've got the portfolio value at the bottom. So this is where this brings us right now. When there's a def cross, so when the orange line is below the blue line, we bet on a falling price. When the orange line is above the blue line, we bet on a rising price. Now we did have a bit of a hiccup over here, right? A def cross over here, subsequently very quickly a golden cross again. But in general, this approach historically worked very well, right? A def cross over here, a golden cross over here. So you would have bet on a falling price during this decline. And currently we are very much bullish. We got a golden cross. Now I don't believe in a 40x. I don't think that we will see $100 in UNI within 4 years. But I do think there is still some headroom versus Bitcoin, even in the short term, until the next resistance comes. I also believe that the reason why Uniswap underperformed has now been eliminated and that now the tokenomics are in favor of the asset. I also believe that the attention is not that high, because if it was, that would be a problem. And the same is true for the leverage. There's not yet too much leverage in the asset. That's also not a red flag. Now, I cannot share all the positions that I've currently open, right? This is for the premium members. However, I've set up this little website over here. It's linked down below. It's the free premium trade page. You can get one of the free premium trades that I currently hold for free, either sent to your Telegram or to your email. So that's what I currently hold, what many premium members hold as well. You can either click here to get it via Telegram. You can also scan this QR to request it in Telegram, or again, just get it sent to your email. Besides this trade, you will also get a free premium tutorial video that explains how to set this all up, how this all works, and why this performance is not magic, but actually backed by statistics. Thus, I believe has a very high likelihood of continuing the way it did. If it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish this regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you next time. Cheers.